If you're a painting company and you're under $1 million a year, this video is for you. So I work with a lot of painters. Some are doing 500,000 a year, some are doing 3 million, some are doing 5 million. And I've noticed something really consistent with the guys that are doing $1 million plus. So the guys that are doing $1 million plus are not doing anything different than what you guys are doing under a million. There's just really a few key areas that they think about the business differently. And I want to pass this information along because it's extremely powerful. And this gets into the mindset of how these $1 million painting companies really think. I'll give you a couple of examples here. If you're under $1 million, it's not because you're worse at painting. It's not because you live in a bad area. It's not because you don't work hard enough. These $1 million companies aren't there because they have unlimited budgets. Key mindset shifts that I want to get across to you. So that way, you know how these $1 million painting companies think. And in this video, I'm going to break those down for you. So at the end of the video, you'll know exactly what shifts you need to make in order to grow to $1 million and beyond. So let's dive right in here. So the first thing is you got to know your numbers. And what do I mean by that? What does that actually mean? Are we tracking the CRM? Are we tracking this? What does that actually mean? So if you're having, let's say, a slow month, right? $1 million painting companies, they don't just base it off their feeling it's a slow month. So when I ask $1 million painting company if they're having a slow, when I ask them, hey, how many leads did you get? How many did you close? What's your average ticket? How far is your schedule? What's the capacity of your team? They can give me all those answers and they know, right? Now, for the painting companies under a million, when I ask those same questions, if they're having a slow month, I usually get silence or shrugs or questions. I'm not really sure, right? So the big mindset shift here is that instead of just feeling things in the business, get the facts, get the numbers, right? And this actually might mean a significant change for your business because you have to start tracking this stuff. This isn't something you just pull up and say, oh, everybody has these numbers. You have to start tracking these things. How many leads, how many closes compared to the previous season, right? Because painting's a seasonal business. So if you're trying to compare numbers from, mid-June to mid-January or mid-December, well, you're going to get different numbers, right? So you really have to turn the mindset from just I think, I feel to I know, here are the numbers, and that gives you the confidence so that you can make decisions, right? And you can invest more into marketing, you can de-invest into marketing, you can do referrals. It's like so many different things. But the main point that I want to get across here is that you have to change the mindset from you feel and you think to and that gives you the confidence to make decisions and make moves to get you closer to where you need to be for that month or that quarter or that year. Okay. So that's the first shift. Second shift is you got to think in quarters and years versus a month. Okay. So without a doubt, you still should be making sure your marketing is working on a month to month basis. However, you need to stop judging your marketing and your business just based off 1 month. Okay. I don't know how many times I've talked to a company that's under a million and they're having a bad month and they're panicking. Everything's going bad. Everything's on fire. But when you actually look at the numbers, they're either on par for what they did last year or maybe a 10, 20% bump, right? But it just feels that way. Okay, because they're just looking at that past 30 days performance. Okay, there might have been a hiccup in the ads, there might have been a hiccup in your marketing or the production. There's all kinds of things that can happen on a monthly basis. And I'll be the first to admit too that it's really hard to make this shift because you're thinking about making payroll, you're thinking of paying the team. You really kind of have to think in the short term. But the companies that make it past to a million, they think long term as well. So they add that component, right? So the reality is that sometimes campaigns or marketing or any initiatives within the company really take 30, 60, 90 days to implement. Okay. If it was just you in the company and maybe one other worker, you can probably turn things around a little bit quicker. But when you have a team, when you have admin assistants, you have to make changes. These changes aren't going to happen in 10 days, 30 days, right? Everything kind of snowballs. Okay. And this is what $1 million painting companies understand and know. There's seasons, right? They judge things by quarters. Okay. 3 months is a great sample. If your quarter was worse than last year's quarter, that's an issue. And you need to take a look at that. But if your month is worse than the month for last year, it could be, there could be multitude of things to happen there. So the first thing you need to think about is think in quarters and years versus months. Okay. And again, everything kind of snowballs, right? And there's also something to say about sticking with it. A lot of businesses go out in the first 5 years because they didn't stick with it. Okay. They weren't able to grow. So stop panicking at the last 30 days and think in quarters and think in years. Okay. Now, the next thing is you're going to want to focus not just on the initial sale that you make with a customer or a client. So in the painting industry, sometimes projects can be pretty hefty, or they could be a smaller job. And not every customer will be a repeat customer, depending on what they need. But every customer can give you referrals. They did a cabinet job, you can maybe get them for an exterior next year, right? So you got to stop thinking in such transactional ways, like we got one customer and that's it. So there's a multitude of things that you can do, but I want you to start getting in the mindset that every customer can lead to more customers. Okay. So there's something to be said about the ads hamster wheel. It's like, okay, we run an ad, we get a lead, we close it, that's it. And we just need to optimize that cycle. But that will just keep you in like the paid ads kind of like hamster wheel. And paid ads are fantastic and they can get you a crap ton of clients right away. However, you have to start thinking long term. Okay, so hey, I served, let's say for ease of numbers, I served 100 clients this year. Let's make it a goal to get 30 referrals from those people. 30 referrals means pretty high closing jobs if those people do refer you, right? Because referrals are obviously, some of the highest closing percentages. That's a huge win. Imagine 30 extra jobs that you just squeeze out per year that you don't have to spend on online marketing. Okay. I want you to get in the mindset that every customer you get leads to other customers. Okay. So even if you break even on a project, you might think, oh man, we didn't make any money on this project. This sucks. Get down on yourself when really that project could lead to another project and lead to another project and lead to another project and lead to another project. So stop thinking so transactional and just on one project for one client and start optimizing for referrals, customer lifetime value, and overall focus on getting more reviews, right? Even if you do just a job and you get an awesome referral and a review, that's a win, huge win. So the $1 million painting companies, they don't just think about one customer and that's it. They think about a customer as a lifetime. Hey, we're going to serve this customer for a lifetime here. We're going to get referrals and we're going to increase this engine. Okay. So that's the third shift. Now, the next shift that kind of like parlays into what I just said. Okay. So how are these $1 million companies actually turning, one customer into a referral, into repeat business? Okay. So you have to have somewhere to house all this information. Okay. That's typically a CRM. So customer relation management system. So if you don't have a CRM, I highly recommend getting a CRM because otherwise you're not going to be able to keep track of your leads, the people who closed, and it's just going to keep you in the dark about your business. Okay. So you need to know how many customers you serviced last year, how many leads you got, all that good stuff. Okay. So I know all the common complaints. Oh, I don't want to do it. I'm not a tech person. I'm not a tech savvy guy. Da, da, da. I don't care. Get over it. Okay. This is your business. And if you truly wanted to grow to pass $1 million, get over yourself. Get a CRM. If you're not tech savvy, hire someone who's tech savvy. Okay. I don't care. Stop making excuses. Okay. You need to get a CRM. Okay. And there's all kinds of different CRMs. There's ones that are full dialed in, full CRM. There's ones that are just for invoicing and estimates. So find one you like, get onboarded, and use it. Okay. Because here's the most powerful: you do a job already, you do a great job. These people already know you, they like you, and they trust you. Okay. So guess what that means? You're probably in your customer list, you're probably sitting on a couple $100,000 in projects just sitting in your CRM. Okay. So this is how you reactivate those people. Okay. So promise me you will do this. Okay. At least once, twice, maybe even every quarter. Okay. Send a simple email or a text to your past clients and say, hey, how's the exterior we did for you holding up in the summer? We think it came out fantastic, but I wanted to check in with you. Okay. It could be as simple as that. They go, oh, Nate, it was awesome. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Oh, actually, we're kind of thinking of doing some kind of interior work next year. Would you be open to giving us a quote for that? Absolutely, no problem. We'll get you in the schedule. And then guess what? another high paying job, right? So imagine if you have a list of 500 people, you send that out, a simple email or text, and let's say only 10% of the people respond and they have another job for you, right? So you just squeezed out of 500 contacts, 10% is 50 jobs from that. And not just leads, jobs. So imagine if you had a list of 1,000. 1,500, 2,000. You've been building your business for 10 years and you have this giant list, right? So this gives people $1 million painting companies control. Okay. So sometimes when you're in business, you feel out of control. I got to spend more on ads. I got to do this. I got to go do more door knocking and stuff. But they're sitting on a gold mine of information. And this is a big mindset shift from just transactional, hey, ads, lead, close. Hey, we just need more ads. We need more leads. It's like, yes, of course, but you need to shift the mindset into thinking, hey, I can fill the schedule with multiple ways. Ads is just one lever that we pull here. Okay. So $1 million painting companies do this every single year to fill their schedule. Okay. So if you're under a million and you're not doing these database reactivations, you need to start doing that. And I don't care what excuses you have. I'm not tech savvy. I don't really know what to say. I don't know what to do. Figure it out. Okay. This is business. Okay. And you need to treat it like a business. And don't give me that crap about, I don't want to bother my customer. That feels too salesy. That feels too markety. Get that out of your head. That's the mindset of someone that's under $1 million. Okay. These $1 million plus companies don't even have that thought. They're already sent that out, already scheduled jobs and moving forward. Okay. And on the opposite side, let's say 5 customers get mad and like, oh no, stop it. Great. Well, 5 customers you just got off your list that aren't going to give you any more jobs in the future, anyways. Let's say you got 30 jobs from that. Is that a good trade off? 30 jobs for 5 people who you probably never going to talk to ever again, and we're not going to refer you anyways? Like, come on, guys. This is business. We need to start playing business to win, okay, not to lose. Okay. So the next mindset shift here. So a lot of painting companies that are under $1 million, kind of said this before, but they're just playing to not lose. Okay. They're not playing to win. So, what do I mean by that? So, the reality is $1 million painting companies are just playing a longer game and they have better systems. Okay. So, let's say we send 100 leads to somebody in a month, right? And the $1 million painting company will have the systems to convert that into a repeatable process to close those projects. Okay. The companies under $1 million will blame the system, blame the ads, blame the leads, blame marketing. I need more qualified leads. These guys aren't qualified. But yet, those same 100 leads will go to $1 million painting company and those converted to 50, 60, $70,000 in sales. Okay. So what is the major difference? Are they that good at sales? Are they that good at marketing? No. Okay. Flat out, no. The big difference is they have a better follow-up system, a better sales process. They have a client fit, customer fit. Okay. They're maybe really good at cabinets and they have a really good cabinet process. Okay. And they get a lot of cabinet leads. They close that. Okay. So the ads and the leads themselves, don't get me wrong, there is a lot of things that you can do to increase your quality of leads and all that good stuff. Okay. But the gap is not as wide as you think. Okay. So it's really about the mindset and the systems behind this. Okay. So these companies that are $1 million plus, they're playing to win. Okay. They make those leads work. Okay. They're paying for the leads, they make them work. A lot of the guys under a million, they'll call a lead once, twice. They didn't answer. Not a good lead. $1 million plus painting companies, they call the lead every single day. They text the lead, they drop voicemails, they have multiple people following up from multiple different angles, and then they turn that lead into an estimate and close the deal. Okay, this is business. You guys need to get after it. Okay, I'm tired of hearing from people that, hey, I called the lead, wasn't a good lead. Okay, and then we call that same lead and follow up, better sales process on the phone. We're positive, we're confident, and we get the sale, right? A lot of you guys may be answering, calling, hey, yeah, did you request a free estimate? I'd probably be like, what the heck is this? And hang up on you, right? Hey, this is such and such from Painting Company. We got your request for a free estimate here. Wanting to let you know I'll be personally taking care of you. Awesome. Yeah, can you just tell me a little bit more about your project here? Boom, 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 boom. And you get that scheduled. So stop making excuses. It's not the lead, it's not the lead quality. It's literally your mindset and your systems for turning that lead into a sale. Okay. So wrap it up. The $1 million painting companies, they know their numbers, okay? Facts, not feelings. They think in seasons, quarters, and years, not just the past 30 days. They maximize every single customer, okay? They turn one customer into a referral, into repeat customers. They have a CRM that they use to have consistent ways to deliver estimates, and they are playing to win. Okay. They're not playing to lose and just survive. Hey, let's just spend the minimum we want on ads and this and that. It's uncomfortable to grow sometimes, but that's business. If you want to get to $1 million plus, you need to play to win, not to lose. Okay. So if you lock these in, I guarantee you your painting business will grow. It'll be more stable, be more scalable, and less stressful. So if you want help, you want to talk to us, see if we can help you grow. We take a lot of the marketing headache off your plate. There's going to be a link below so we can see what's holding you back and see if we can help you out there. If not, continue watching the channel. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. And in the next video, which will be somewhere, will be right here, we'll go into other marketing plays that we can do. Specifically, one of the videos will talk about database reactivation, which is very cool. So stay tuned. And also, if you're having any issues with your Google My Business listing, we'll include that in one of the videos here. We'll include exactly what you need to get those verified there. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, drop it in the as a comment there. I'll get back to you as soon as I can here. And that's it for this video. We'll see you in the next one.